to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good? What's good? What's going on, y'all? You already know what time it is. It is MoSports TV. Week 11 recap.
Yep.
Week 12 preview. NBA. We're talking boxing. We're talking all lots of topics.
Yeah,
It is Thanksgiving Eve, and I'm here with Matt Cheese.
Yasirski, Ed's duck and wreck again.
It had to work, y'all. I'll give him a pass this time.
This one was on us.
This one was our fault.
Yeah.
This one was our fault. But other couple times he was duck and wreck. I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say.
What up, I mean? What up, Double R? How we doing, boys?
What's good, fellas? What's good? What's good? What's going on?
Let's kick things off recapping this past week. Double R's in the chat. I mean, obviously the first thing on his mind has to be those goddamn Eagles. Now, obviously, we all watched the Eagles beat the Chiefs the other night on Monday Night Football. And now my question to you, was this more so the Eagles coming out and winning this game, or was this the Kansas City Chiefs literally and figuratively dropping the ball?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because obviously the Eagles got the lead when they got the lead. Period. Right? Like they came back and that Chiefs offense was non-existent until that last drive of the game.
Yep.
So I will give the Eagles the props that they were winning. But I will not give them the props on the total win because they get saved once again. You know, the Eagles love to get saved by whether it's the refs, whether it's a Kansas City wide receiver. Silly, dumb things, you know, go the Eagles' way and they win, you know. And, you know, they're a great team. But
I can't even say anything
if it's dry weather, if it's not raining, I think that game goes a lot differently.
Yeah, I think I had said it to you when we had looked at the forecast for that game that day. That, you know, I like the Chiefs still, but I said the weather definitely matters. Going into it, I knew that if like you said, if it was dry outside, Patrick Mahomes is airing that thing out a lot more than he was. They were forced into the run game a lot more. And listen, Pacheco
still had a great game.
He had a great game, but I think if Patty can take control of the air, I mean, they were getting who was it, Justin Watson, right? He was getting involved at a crazy rate, bro. So realistically, Patty was spreading the love. We just got to make some plays, man, on the other side of the ball.
What's rough. Crazy is that the Chiefs could easily be 10-0 right now, and all 3 losses is because of wide receiver drops. If you remember, Week 1 against the Lions, Kadarius Toney dropped the ball, and it turned into a pick 6, and he kept on dropping the ball.
Yep.
MVS this week, and then I forgot who they lost to.
The Broncos.
Yeah, there was a couple of drop passes that led to that loss as well. Yep. The Chiefs could easily be 10-0. I still got the Chiefs as the favorites as the AFC. I think the 2 best teams in the NFL did play on Monday, though.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can't. The thing is, there's nothing to really argue against that right now. I think the Niners edge the Eagles out a little bit, but hey, it's hard to, you know, make that point right now, being that the Eagles just beat the defending champions in the Chiefs. I do ultimately agree that I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl this year, and I have them, you know, going all the way, winning the AFC as well. But it was a good game, I guess, out of the Eagles. I'm just not moved. I'm not crazily moved and thinking like, oh man, the Eagles are dominant. And that's not being a hater entirely. It's just, you know, you see the way that they're winning these games, and it's like, all right, at some point or another, luck has to run out, right?
Right.
I don't know.
No, I agree with that. I mean, like I said, the Eagles are an extremely talented football team, but they get bailed out a lot. And I've always said that. And they play down to their opponents, but they also play up to their opponents. So, I mean, every game is going to be a close one with Philly. That's what it's looking like. And they usually come out on top.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
You're funny, Double R. Calories don't count on holidays, bro. Come on. Entirely. You will never be moved. It's okay. I accept it. No, I mean, obviously, all the pieces you have on offense are moving. That's the thing. DeAndre Swift, I've loved that acquisition since the day that they got him.
Yeah,
and that's proving to be, you know, a great pickup. I can't believe they were ever thinking of giving Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell carries over him. Now that you're seeing his production, I mean, that pickup moved me. Some of these wins, they're just not, though. Like, it's the way that they're winning games. We talked about it with the Jags last week, and we put that clip out on Instagram. You don't watch the Jags and think that this team is just like over the top insane. And now the Eagles obviously are one of the best teams in the NFC, but I don't watch them and I'm like, they're running away with, the Super Bowl and the Lombardi this year?
So when they play, let's talk about the 49ers now, because they have another impressive victory, back-to-back very impressive victories over pretty decent teams.
Yep.
Ed put this in the notes, and I guess it raises a legitimate question: is Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk top 10 in their respective positions? I mean, Ayuk could possibly be top 10.
Top 10 wide receiver position so feeble.
It's so stacked too. It's like, I guess he deserves it. I guess, but like he's still. I don't know. Yes, he deserves. He's top 10, but he's like at the end.
Are you taking Brandon Ayuk over Keenan Allen?
No.
Are you taking Brandon Ayuk over CeeDee Lamb?
No.
Are you taking Brandon Ayuk over? I mean, yeah, it's tough. Cooper Kupp, no.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head.
Puka Nacua, no. Probably
I would take him
right
over Nacua.
You think so?
I would take him over Nacua.
It's close.
I would take him over Nacua. I wouldn't take him over Kupp though.
Are you taking Brandon Ayuk or Calvin Ridley?
Right now,
Ayuk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really that top 10. Brandon Ayuk or Mike Evans?
That's tough.
That's really
That's tough. Evans in a better situation. I'll take Evans.
Evans in San Fran?
Oh
man.
my God.
Raps. And I said it. There's too many good wide receivers. It's just a stacked position. Now let's talk about Purdy being top 10, because I don't know about all that. I can't lie. The quarterback position is looking pretty stacked. We put on the Instagram. I think it was Kurt Benkert, his top 10, and it was decent. It wasn't anything too outrageous, but what I noticed was number 10 was Josh Allen. So if Josh Allen's at your 10 spot, then are you taking Brock Purdy right now or Josh Allen?
I'm not taking Brock Purdy over any of these elite quarterbacks, because when shit got funky for Purdy, he folded up like a wet paper towel. When Trent Williams was hurt, when players were hurt and they went on that 3-game losing streak, we saw a lot of true colors come out of Brock Purdy. He got exposed. And like I said, there's a lot of quarterbacks that would do damage on that 49ers team. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo took them to the fucking Super Bowl.
Bro,
okay,
Gardner Minshew would be insane on that team.
Real shit. Like is
Josh Dobbs?
Dobbs will go crazy.
Dobbs will go crazy, man. I don't know. So it's hard to call Purdy top 10.
I'm not going to give Purdy top 10.
I can't give him that nod. Purdy got to prove he can do it without his number one. That's facts. Yeah, I need to be able to see that he can air the ball out. Hey, I talked about them getting Kittle more involved. I need to see his consistency in the pass game. He could, dial up all the inside slants he wants and all the Christian McCaffrey, stack the box type of runs. But it's just I need to see it out of Purdy in the big moment.
It's going to be interesting, that Eagles versus 49ers game. It's going to say a lot about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
A lot is going to be revealed in 2 weeks. Let's just put it like that.
Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy? I got to go Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence in that offense would be potent.
I don't know. It's tough. Is he say, she say at this point? Ooh. I mean,
if you're taking Purdy over Trevor Lawrence, what does that say about Trevor Lawrence as the number 1 overall pick formerly?
I'm not taking. I'm just saying I don't know.
It's close, but even considering
the fact that it's even being considered is a problem for him a little bit. But like I'm saying, Trevor Lawrence is a young, growing quarterback. He still has to, develop a little bit more. I think he's still very good for his position and his draft position.
Is Lawrence top 10?
No.
Yeah, not yet.
I don't think either one is top 10. So,
yeah, not sure. Not quite sure. But what I do know is the 49ers play tomorrow. They're playing the Seahawks. So, talk to me about how you're feeling about that game. So, Geno's questionable right now.
Geno's questionable. Kenny Walker's out.
Yep.
They got Charbonnet back there. What's up, Bones?
He said name 10. That's a lot.
Bro, one thing I don't do, Bones, is when somebody tells me to name 10 players off the top of my head, and I smoke too much pot for that, bro. I'm not going to be able to name 10 players off the top of my head unless I see 30 players in front of my face. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the top 10 is roughly like it's Josh Allen. You got to put Dak in there with the way he's played this season. Joe Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, Patty,
Mahomes.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. And then it starts getting a little gray, and that's where you can throw in. Who else are we thinking? It's really tough. Jalen Hurts, obviously.
Hurts is above, yeah.
Like, and then the 9-10 spot is really feeble. So that could, Tua,
taking Tua over, sure.
Yeah, and then 10 is like, do I want Trevor Lawrence there?
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, we could talk Kyler too.
Gino. I was even thinking
Gino.
Goff is in your
Goff is in my top 10.
Yeah,
Goff is in my top 10.
Yeah,
sorry, y'all.
Deshaun Watson when he was balling.
Maybe
he's at the massage parlor now.
Did we say Burrow? Yeah, we said Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow's in there. But yeah, there's a lot. It's a stacked position right now.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow they're going to Seattle. It's in Seattle, 12th man. How we feeling? Niners are 9-point favorites, I believe.
Listen, it's Thanksgiving. It's a divisional game.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks are home. It's at night. If Gino plays and is 100%,
+7.
I love the Seahawks to cover. Will they win outright? Possibly. It's a divisional game, like I said.
No Kenny Walker. Is this the Zach Charbonnet?
This might be the come out for the Charbonnet.
We play each other in fantasy as well this week, and I think you have Charbonnet on your roster.
I do. I have him as a flex. I picked him up.
Interesting. Very interesting.
He's at the flex. Bucko.
But I think he has a good game tomorrow. I was predicting. One of my friends asked me Noah Brown or Zach Charbonnet this weekend, and I said Charbonnet because I think he's going to give you about 60 yards of production, at least 2-3 catches. I mean, with no Kenny Walker, he's going to get volume tomorrow. Despite
Noah Brown is more riskier. He has the way higher ceiling than Charbonnet, is what I'm trying to say. Noah Brown has put up 172 yards 2 weeks ago, and then another like 130 yards back-to-back weeks. The only difference now is that
fall off a cliff this weekend.
He could, because Nico Collins is back, and that was when Nico Collins was out or Tank Dell was out. All three of them haven't been together playing healthy, is what I'm trying to say.
And they're playing the Jags defense. The Jags defense is solid. So this might be the week that the Texans, fall off. They've had a nice little Cinderella 3 weeks, but we'll see what happens. But all right, prediction is they cover the Seahawks cover. The
Seahawks cover. But I do think the Niners win. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks won. The Seahawks are a good team, bro. I don't know why people are acting like the Seahawks aren't a good team. They're a good team.
They still got a squad. They still got pieces.
It's the NFC West. NFC West is the NFC West.
Says the Texans really got a squad. You want to talk about last weekend's game with them?
Man, CJ Stroud is just continuing to be HIM.
Himmy Turner.
This guy, there's nothing he can't do at this point. Like he's diming people left and right. I don't know if you saw the clip. Did you see the NFL Films clip today of his center had a really wet jersey and his sweat was leaking onto the ball before CJ Stroud got the ball.
Oof.
And the touchdown that he threw to Dalton Schultz
was sweaty.
He couldn't grip it. And he said, "I'm sorry, it was a bad ball. I can't fucking grip the ball."
Yeah.
And he made the equipment manager switch the center's jersey.
Wow, that's crazy, because honestly, this was the game that was kind of the pause police in the chat. The best Ohio State quarterback by far, definitely
100%. 100%.
This was honestly his worst of the past 3 weeks. He had a couple interceptions, and
he did. Didn't he have 3?
He had 3 interceptions.
He had 3 interceptions.
They still won the game.
Still got the W.
It's crazy, man. I really like what the Texans have going on. I mean, up and down, though, we forget that they've been building pieces for a little bit now. I mean, D'Amico Ryan's hire was fantastic. Everybody knew that was a good move, right? CJ Stroud, not everyone was sure on that, but it panned out. Dameon Pierce, we talked about him a couple weeks ago and how he had a great season last year, his coming out party. Let's not forget they drafted Derek Stingley Jr. With the top 5 pick just a couple years ago.
True.
And now he's all of a sudden coming into his own. If he could stay healthy, they have some pieces over there. I don't know. I like what they have going on.
They have a great future ahead of them. Let's just put it like that. They have
Houston, we have a
A
problem.
lot of pieces, but I don't think they're going to do any real damage in the playoffs.
Not this year.
They could possibly upset one of these teams in the first round, but that's the most I could see from it, you know.
I agree.
But you know, CJ Stroud. People were telling me I posted the CJ Stroud MVP clip today on YouTube, and somebody was like, "Well, you're talking about rookies winning MVPs. Jim Brown did it when he was a rookie. Do your fucking research, dude." I was like, first of all, bro, my mom wasn't even born when motherfucking Jim Brown won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Fuck you. He won it in 1957. Yeah. I don't give a fuck. It hasn't happened since. It's very hard for a rookie to win MVP. So with that being said, I still don't think CJ Stroud is the favorite in the MVP race. Obviously, it's looking like Jalen Hurts when it comes to the sportsbooks odds right now. He's like plus 200 or so.
Yeah. But it was only ever really a conversation because there was nobody running away with the award. There's been nobody that's kind of head and shoulders above the rest so far this year in terms of MVP. You know, Patty Mahomes was a favorite just because he was Patrick Mahomes. Like, you compare Patrick Mahomes statistically to Justin Herbert, what he's done this season, and honestly, they're pretty close, but everyone wants to rag on Herbert a lot more than obviously Patrick Mahomes. So, you know, it's just it's here nor there, and that's why it still is a conversation. And this is crazy. I can see Houston doing what Jacksonville did last year. Yeah, or like Buffalo when they first snuck in the playoffs maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember them when they were all in the locker room, like watching one of the games to see if they made it in. And, you know, I could see that happening with Houston because they do have some young pieces. So I'm excited to see their next few years, especially with Stroud.
Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns real quick. Deshaun Watson obviously out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
They had the rookie playing, but
that ain't it.
And two, they just brought in Joe Flacco onto the practice squad.
Yep.
Is that going to
keep them
is it going to keep them relevant? Is what I'm trying to say. Is it going to keep them, you know, here?
It depends on if the Steelers keep winning football games. If the Steelers can stay above water, that's really the determining factor for me because the Ravens are obviously running away with things. You know, that's just a loaded up squad over there. But other than that, like Joe Burrow is down and out. The Bengals are down and out. Sorry, but I don't know. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to keep the job, I believe. I don't know about that. I don't think DTR. I mean, that you bring in a guy like Joe Flacco, you're not bringing him in to just ride pine. I don't think.
Yeah, I like Joe Flacco though. You know, he's a good serviceable old head.
He
is,
definitely. Steelers
will he able to get Amari Cooper the ball? We'll see.
For fantasy reasons, I hope so.
We'll see. That's a big we'll see. Yeah. But I still got the Ravens running away with the division at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep, me too.
Maybe the Steelers can make the playoffs now that Matt Canada got fired. How do we think the Steelers offense is going to change with Matt Canada being gone?
I hate to say it because he's a Jersey guy, but I don't think anything changes when you got Kenny Pickett and just a wet noodle of an arm back there. I can't lie to you. Did you know that Kenny Pickett has just one career game with over one passing touchdown?
Yeah, DeVito has just as many. And that's
no, he has more.
He has more already in 3 games.
Bro, an undrafted free agent in 3 games.
It's not looking good
for
Mr. Pickett. I can't lie.
Ocean Zone. You hate to
it
say
sucks. And I really don't. One thing I do like about this Steelers offense is Jalen Warren. I can tell you that much. That boy is nice. And they're finally realizing that Najee Harris is dog shit.
Yep.
And I think I don't know. I think the Steelers still have a shot to make the playoffs. Like, they keep winning.
They do. That defense is nice.
Defense is top notch.
They keep winning ball games.
And now they have a new OC. So let's see what happens. Maybe they get more aggressive, and hopefully Jalen Warren continues to get more volume.
Yeah, and find a way to get George Pickens the ball, for Christ's sakes.
That too.
Jeez, let your guys, make plays in space. Let's see something out of this offense because it ain't good.
So let's talk about Cincinnati as well. Joe Burrow. Out for the year.
It's Jover.
It is Jover. Jake Browning, though, looked kind of decent when he came in, though. He was throwing the ball a little bit, bro. So are the Bengals all the way cooked, or are they like medium rare?
Well, I think the Bengals have an opportunity to run like a diet version of what San Fran has going on over there in terms of a system, and just like trying to apply Jake Browning to a working, already kind of functioning system. You know, if you could just keep him within himself and not try and do too much and let your guys, you know, you have all these wide receivers. You have a three-headed monster at wide receiver. Joe Mixon's been playing incredible. Let these guys make the plays for you. Let's not force Jake Browning into, you know, lighting it up on the stat sheet. Let him do dirty work. And if they could find ways to win like that, they could hang around in that division, especially if they win this weekend.
Yeah, no, for real. I actually like Jake Browning, and I do think since he can still be relevant.
What do they do once they're there? Pray.
Did you pray today?
Yeah, keep telling yourself any given Sunday. That's all you can do. I mean, that's like the Giants-Eagles game last year when we had to come on and give our predictions for that. Like, it was just brutal stuff. We're only like a game out of the last spot. You don't know that AFC's loaded, man. Loaded with mediocrity, though. Nobody's really coming out the pack like that and impressing. I don't know. I don't know. But all right, another game going on tomorrow. We got Lions-Packers, of course. What are your thoughts on this one? Because to me, this is a prove-it game for the Lions in front of everybody. Obviously, they have a 9-2 record for the first time in forever. I think it was like 19, you know, back when Jim Brown won MVP back then, long ago.
Right.
But this is their opportunity to show everybody on
don't understand
television. They're legit.
Matt, I just don't understand how people are still sleeping on the Lions. You just said a prove-it game. Are we dead ass? They're 9-2. They beat the Chiefs.
The casuals
prove-it game.
Still look at the
These
Lions.
boys is here, man.
Look at the spread.
These boys is here.
Look at the
These
spread.
boys is here,
it's
man.
Only 7.5. I think that should be.
I feel like that's a fair spread, bro.
I think they're
that's a fair spread. It's a divisional game, prime time, 7.5. That's over a score. That's a very high spread in Vegas. Look, the Lions are going to threaten the Niners and the Eagles in the NFC. I promise you right now.
8-2. I'm sorry.
8-2. Whatever. These boys is here.
They're here.
That offense might be the best offense in the NFL. And nobody's talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Nobody's fucking talking about the Lions, bro. Nobody wants to consider Jared Goff in the MVP conversations. Nobody wants to give Jahmyr Gibbs his flowers.
They got a two-headed monster in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Sam Laporta, who's having a coming out.
Oh, my God.
And the defense is coming together as well. So, I don't know. It's a prove-it game for the Packers and Jordan Love, not the Lions.
I agree with that, too.
But I don't know. Like, the Packers have nothing to lose because they're horrible. The Lions have everything to lose in this game because they're the ones that are 8-2 right now. But if they lost this game, everyone would be like, it's the Lions. Nothing shocking. I don't agree with the Lions losing.
I don't agree with that. The Lions are here, no matter if they lose to the Packers or not tomorrow. They're here, and they're going to threaten some good teams in that NFC.
Recently biased media will count them out of the NFC if they lose tomorrow.
Okay.
Recency bias.
That's
media.
fine.
That's what I think.
That's
Obviously, the people that know ball know that they're here. But
them boys is here, bro.
ESPN will all of a sudden start, taking them off their top 10 list or something or whatnot. But all right, another game going on tomorrow. Commanders Cowboys. This one's gonna be good, honestly. I'm excited for this one.
I said yesterday to a Cowboys fan, I was like, this is the type of games that the Commanders win. They always upset the Cowboys or the Eagles once a year. It seems like they get smacked around by the Giants, but they always split with the Cowboys and the Eagles. And tomorrow might be the day the Commanders beat the Cowboys. I don't know. It could happen. Obviously, the Cowboys are the favorites. Obviously, the Cowboys beat up on bad teams. So it's either going to be a Cowboys blowout or a Commanders very close win.
Yeah, it's tough because Dallas has been kind of riding a high as of late, and I feel like they're due to come down. But then again, on Thanksgiving, America's team, it just, it seems too Jerry Jones and this big, the bright lights. I'm going to ride with Dallas on this one, but it just wouldn't shock me if, we saw one of those anomaly games from Sam Howell
Yeah.
where, they just ball out. Like he all of a sudden decides to compete randomly with the good teams. So I don't know. I'm taking Dallas though, if I had to pick one.
Nah, for sure. Okay. Let's get off of the Thanksgiving games and do a little bit more of a preview.
Yep.
Bills versus Eagles.
Oof.
Should be a decent one, huh? It's going to be a close one because it's always close when it comes to the Eagles. It's always fucking close. But I do think the Eagles ultimately come out on top on some bullshit once again. It's going to happen.
And I don't think that is it time to throw Dak into MVP talks. He definitely should be because, like I said, nobody's running away with it. That's the thing.
No.
If you're picking 5 guys right now, he's probably the 4th or 5th guy.
That's not MVP talks top 5. MVP talks is like top 3, in my opinion.
I think he's like 4th on the odds list. But
Cowboys haven't won enough games.
Going back to Bills Eagles, I don't think this is a game again where the Eagles come out and like trounce the Bills. I think this is a game where we see another Sean McDermott, just stains in the drawers and, something goes wrong for them. That just seems to be the name of the game with the Bills. And it seems like they just can't get anything rolling when they're facing, legitimate opponents. So my prediction is that I'm going to take Eagles 27, Bills 17.
Yeah, I'm saying Eagles 24, Bills 21. It's gonna be a close one. Every game is close. Every game is close with the Eagles.
It is.
And they're gonna get bailed out somehow. Just put it like that.
It always comes down to it. Maybe some zebras get involved in this one.
They do.
They love to.
They love to.
All right. We were talking about the Texans a little bit. Them and the Jags. We mentioned, this is going to be a good matchup for both of these teams. Who has to prove it more in this one? Is it the Jags that kind of have to show their legitimacy, beating up on a quote-unquote not great Texans team? Or is it the Texans trying to prove that they are legitimate, beating up on the Jaguars?
This is just a huge divisional game in general. This is going to decide who wins the division. This is going to be like, this is the game of the week, in my opinion. Low key, this is the game of the week because this is going to be a slugfest.
Yeah.
An absolute slugfest between two young and up-and-coming teams.
What up, Ricky? How we doing, baby?
What's good, dog?
Yeah, no, it's going to be an offensive, just chaos. And I'm excited for it because I have both of those quarterbacks in, a fantasy league of each. So I'm hoping for a lot of points.
I'm hoping for it too. And
Jags and OT with the W. What's the key to the game for the Jaguars? Get ETN going, in my opinion. When they get ETN rolling, it opens up their pass game so much.
ETN has to cook. Kirk has to cook. Ridley has to cook. The whole offense just has to cook in general, bro. Like, they have the offense to make it happen. But more importantly, they're going to have to stop CJ Stroud.
Can it be done? There's so many pieces offensively.
The wrong part, the shitty part is that CJ Stroud can get picked off 3 times and he'll still win the game.
Win the ball game, man. It's because
it's like, how do we beat CJ Stroud? They don't have NFL teams just don't have enough info on him, don't have enough tape on him, and haven't figured him out yet. He hasn't been figured out yet, and that is a dangerous thing in the NFL. When a quarterback has not been figured out yet, or a system has not been figured out yet, it gets real dangerous real quick.
It gets scary. And I mean, they even brought in Mills Mafia for a snap at one point. So, if you got Davis Mills coming out, and
Mills
snaps,
Mafia,
they got a dynamic offense going on over there. But no, I like the plays that they've been drawing up. They've been doing some crazy cooking. Obviously, you have so many pieces to work with over there that Bobby Slowick kind of just let the man take the play sheet, and they're going to go do their thing. And like we mentioned, the Jags defense is solid. It's not great. It's not over the top moving. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Texans steal another one here, honestly.
Look, it's a coin toss on who wins the game in general. But I do think it's going to be a slugfest. I think it's going to be a barn burner.
So if you had to take Jags minus 1.5 or Texans plus 1.5?
Texans plus 1.5. But, like, that spread is irrelevant. 1.5 is just a money line game. Like,
yeah, I think I'm rolling with the Texans, man. And that would leave them at 7-4. It's crazy. Crazy. He's got to be in your MVP talks if he wins again this week.
I agree. I think he should already be in MVP talks. But Ravens versus Chargers. I think this is going to be a lot closer game than what people think. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. Obviously, you know, the Chargers lost once again to fuck shit. To absolute fuck shit.
They're bad, man. They're not a good
Quentin Johnson dropping the ball.
Quentin Johnston will be bagging groceries sooner than
Staley
later.
stinks.
Staley stinks, and you just got Jay Herbo wasting a prime.
Yeah, they're wasting his shit right now. It's kind of sad.
It's very sad. I don't know what really you can do to fix it at this point because
it can be fixed. It can be fixed. It's just they need a new fucking coach,
new
bro.
coach, but
they need a new coach.
Can't stay healthy. I mean, that video of Austin Eckler I put in the Facebook group is atrocious, man. He looked he looked like a fullback. He looked like Eddie Lacy chugging down the sidelines. It was embarrassing almost, like how slow he looked. I don't know. The injuries are just coming back to bite him.
But like I really don't think that's like their environment. Green Bay coming from LA, you know, that's just like slow and fucking cold and bullshit.
I can't go for that though. Like I still need you to not be a fat shit running down the sideline. Like Austin Eckler, you got open field in front of you, and he's just like you have
bro. So you're gonna base
you have linebackers.
Austin Eckler's season on this.
Austin Eckler's had a bad season. Yes.
No, he hasn't had a bad season. He's just he was hurt for 4 games, and last week was his first like not good game. Other than that, he's put up great.
I don't know about great.
Stats.
It's not Austin Eckler statistics. That's for sure. It's not what we're accustomed to.
They have more weapons now, so it's like.
But they're not. They're losing less games. So he has. Oh my goodness, this guy has 1 game with above 80 rushing yards, and that was week 1. And he missed weeks 2 through 5. Week 5 was their bye.
All right, but you know we're judging Eckler off of rushing yards once again. Like you know he's a catching running back. He's a screen guy.
And in 3 of these games he had less than 25 receiving yards too.
Yeah,
it's just
that's a problem.
I need to see more. They need to be better.
They do.
They messed up your anytime touchdown. Yeah, it would. I can imagine that. So this weekend, I'm taking the Ravens though. I think they covered the 3.5 too. I'm going to take Ravens by 5 in this game.
That's a fair assessment. All right, let's move on to the NBA. I saw a really good graphic a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Yo, we got to talk about this because it's going viral in the group as well."
Yep.
And anytime something goes viral in the group, I want to talk about it in the on the pod, of course. So they're like, pick one guard to start a franchise with: Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, SGA, which is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Tyrese Maxey. Who do you got?
I mean, I'm
pick one guard to start your franchise with right now, as of right now.
It has to be Anthony Edwards to me, just being that he feels like the most grown. It's between him and SGA, definitely. I feel like they are head and shoulders above the other two, though. Like I feel like that's a coin toss because I could see either side of the ball there. They both play great defense too, offensive horsepower from both of them. I gotta go Ant though. I just like his take.
Ant is the most bona fide star out of the 4, but I do think SGA has a more complete game than Ant. SGA will get double-digit assists or rebounds a game. He handles the rock a lot more than Anthony Edwards. But Anthony Edwards,
is giving you buckets.
He's going to give you buckets, and the Timberwolves are off to a very, very hot start. They're number 1 in the West.
And he's guarding the other team's best player every single night.
I think they're number 2 in the NBA or number 1 in the NBA behind the Celtics.
And they're like 2nd in defensive rating.
They're killing it. They're killing it.
It's yeah, they're
and a lot of it has to do with Anthony Edwards. Obviously, a lot of credit should go to Gobert and Cat as well, but it's mostly Anthony Edwards
and Nas Reed.
Yeah, shout out to Asbury. Yes, but honestly, SGA has the more complete game as far as overall. You know, he could do literally everything on the court, and he gets his team involved. And he took a dog shit team and made it really good. As to where Anthony Edwards. He has more pieces. I mean, look, Chet is a great piece. Don't get me wrong. Giddey's a great piece too, but they're not Gobert Cat status
Yeah,
yet.
there's a
They're
difference
not.
between veterans and then these young guys, and in the intangibles more so than just statistics. That's kind of like the off the court stuff that kind of matters, definitely.
And as far as the other two go, Maxi sample size is probably what 15 games of the volume that he's been getting right now. Obviously, he's had an excellent start, and so has Tyrese Halliburton. All four guards are absolutely great guards, but I'm taking it as far as experience goes at this point, and who's doing the most, and who's been doing this shit. Yeah. SGA's been doing this shit, and Edwards been doing this shit.
Yeah,
them other two are just starting.
Yeah, I have no comment about Halliburton or Maxey, just because it feels almost redundant when I say it. I think they're good, but they're just not superstars. Then they're not elevating the rest of your team the way that these other guys are. Halliburton might with his assists, but they're not winning ball games, and because of it as of yet. I need to see him taking over and winning ball games for them. His defense has been really bad this season too, notably fallen off.
I also have noticed Maxey is getting a lot of his points off of drawing fouls. He learned a lot from James Harden in his fucking tenure.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's the Sixers ball game now.
We haven't heard anybody talk about that yet.
Oh, I've seen it on Twitter, and that's what made me realize. I'm like, yo,
he really is a foul merchant.
Him and Embiid are foul gods, bro. Yeah, they're absolute foul gods.
Forget about it.
And the rest of the NBA is catching on, and the refs are catching on, and that's why the Sixers have lost 2 out of the last 3, and they're playing the T-Wolves tonight without Embiid. So they're about to lose 3 out of the 4. So let's see what happens with the Sixers. They went off to a really hot start, 8-1. Mm-hmm. Now they're 8-3, 8-4, I think, something like that.
Yeah, they're coming down to earth a little bit.
To earth.
As expected.
Who's the leader in the MVP race? Is it Chet or is it Wemby?
Rookie of the year race?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing is, Wemby would have to get either hurt for 2+ weeks, 3+ weeks, or I just don't see an instance where Wembanyama doesn't win it. To see a guy,
I agree.
It would have to be. It's almost like LeBron and Carmelo, right? Back in the day when Carmelo had statistically beaten LeBron in basically every category except for maybe points per game. I think that was it. But every other, statistics it was just assists that LeBron had more of. Melo beat him in every other category, and LeBron won Rookie of the Year. Why? Because a guy like that, of that caliber, with that type of hype, they're not going to have him lose. Come on.
I agree. So let's move on to boxing. Shakur Stevenson last weekend had a fucking snooze fest. And I'm talking about a snoozer. I put on the fight and I fell asleep before it came to an end.
Oof.
That's a problem. And I'm a huge Shakur fan. I'm a big Shakur fan. He's from Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm rocking with him, yada, yada. But that fight was fucking boring. And even though he won, it kind of exposed him a little bit.
Yeah. It forced his hand almost, in a sense of he had to resort to, just winning points wise. Mm-hmm. Rather than
dominating his opponent.
In what we've seen from him. It's he got scared and was all right, I just got to make sure I get this dub. That was it.
And what I did see, he's starting to cop pleas. He was like, yo, I was hurt. This and the third. He was sick. He was sick.
Double R says hurt.
Hurt or sick, one of the two, quote unquote. Yeah. We're going to see next fight, though, if that's cap or not. But until then, people are going to sleep on Shakur. I'm still fucking with Shakur, but that fight made me go to bed. I can't lie. That fight fucking sucked, bro.
And that's one thing, that's going to turn people to UFC more so than boxing. If we're just getting these types of technical little, dink and doink type fights when you're supposed to be a headliner, bro. He's supposed to be one of the more up and coming boxers that's kind of putting it back on the map. And that ain't good for the sport, bro.
It isn't good for the sport. And last topic of the night, Angel Reese, has gotten I don't know if she's suspended or getting benched constantly.
Her grades.
Supposedly it's her grades, but I saw a video on Twitter of her chucking up a bad shot. First 2 minutes of the game. She put up You could say it's a bad shot. It was a very reckless shot
Okay.
for a beginning of a game.
Heat check.
It was a heat check on her first shot.
Off rips.
Yeah, and it was a deep three, and I think it went off the backboard.
Oh, man.
The coach benched her for the rest of the half.
Sheesh.
The star of the team, quote unquote.
That's kind of crazy.
Star.
Yeah.
And mind you, they lost a couple of games before that. I think there's some internal beef with Angel Reese
And they're not telling anybody as
and the coach, because Angel Reese, you know, she's a cocky girl. She talks a lot of shit.
Well, she got kind of, obviously she had a great March last year, and then all of a sudden she went on like a PR tour. And
She went on a PR tour. She got fucked by all these rappers and all these NBA players instead of studying and getting better as a basketball player. And that's what happens.
Film.
She got fucked instead of watching film. She didn't do film and chill. She did Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens. And now her game is showing that.
Wow, they're saying she's the Meg Thee Stallion of the women's college basketball scene.
That's a good comparison. Like,
sheesh.
she was acting real bougie, real corny, real corny. And she did a PR tour, like you said, after. And I don't think she took ball serious since. Since she won the championship, she hasn't took ball serious since.
It's a damn shame.
It's a goddamn shame. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes, sir.
You already know what time it is. We'll be back on Tuesday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had it on Tuesday for fucking 3 weeks, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, we're back next Tuesday.
We're back next Tuesday. I don't give a fuck who says what and what.
Yes,
We're
sir.
back on Tuesday. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. MoSports. Let's go.
Deuces.